Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It is great to have you. First one after the lunch, so we're glad to see you. And we're anxious to hear your story also. So are you ready?
Yes, we are.
You may proceed.
Hi, my name is Christian Rosado.
And I'm Terrell Hargraves.
We are members of the New Britain City Council.
My name is Tim Stewart. I'm the former mayor of New Britain and currently the president of the Chamber of Commerce. On behalf of the city of New Britain and my daughter, who's the current mayor, and I can't run that notes. We want to thank you for recognizing our community's hard work and naming us as a finalist for the All-American City Award. We're thrilled to be here in Denver to introduce our great city to you.
Established in 1754, New Britain is located in the heart of Connecticut, halfway between Boston and New York City. A spirit of innovation shaped New Britain and helped us become a manufacturing leader in the 20th century. If it wasn't made here, the chances are it was built with tools that work. And if the tools didn't exist to do the job we needed to do, we invented new and better tools. This hard work gained us a reputation as the hardware capital of the world. Even today, Stanley Black & Decker still calls New Britain home, as it has since 1843. It's that same roll-up-your-sleeve spirit that's helping us face new challenges in the 21st century. Where other communities see problems, from school absenteeism to an achievement gap, we see opportunities for how and where our next innovations should take shape.
New Britain is home to many different immigrant communities. Our Polish community is thriving, the Puerto Rican community is vibrant, and the Yemen population is growing. 36 languages are spoken in our schools, and we are proud of the culturally rich environment that our children grow up with. But one of the most important things you need to know is that these immigrant languages influence the way we pronounce our city's name. It is not New Britain, it is
New Britain!
Hi, I'm Nancy Sarah, Superintendent of Schools. I started working for the New Britain Schools as an elementary school teacher 22 years ago. I've lived my entire life in New Britain. And this past spring, April 1st to be exact, I was named Superintendent for Schools. Our students are our most precious resource. And I was reminded of that fact this past Thursday as I handed out diplomas to our most recent graduates. Happily for us, our graduation rates are climbing. Sadly for you, our students and their families are still celebrating. So we weren't able to bring them. However, not enough of our students are graduating. So we are tracking this problem as a community, and many of our efforts target our youngest children.
In 2011, Connecticut issued its first report on chronic absence, and to our surprise, New Britain had the highest rate. More than a quarter of our students were attending school less than 90% of the time. And even more disturbing was when we looked at the earliest grades. In kindergarten, 30% of our kindergartners were chronically absent. Attending school is a habit, and we knew that we needed to establish it right away.
The Community Foundation also recognizes that New Britain needed help. So we developed a partnership with Hetty Chang and Attendance Works to make that change happen. And it was not just the school district that tackled the problem, our community did. The Kindergarten Counts pilot was rolled out in 2012 to 2013, and chronic absenteeism rates were reduced to 17%. By the following school year, chronic absenteeism rates in kindergarten were just 13%.
Last fall, the New York Times highlighted our great work with kindergarten families. Every day I work with families in New Britain as my day job as a family intervention liaison in our district attendance department. Tackling absenteeism is a complex issue, and every family faces different challenges to get their children to school, from a need to warm clothing to uncontrollable asthma, and we tailor our approach to fit the needs of that individual family. And our hands-on approach works. I want to read a letter from one of our grade school attendance lunch groups. Dear Ms. Harris, I like coming to school this year. I made attendance goals every month, and I'm extra gentle. I like coming to school because we care about people here, care about me. Love sharing us. We are making a difference.
Looking at data is critical to developing strategies. Every week, teams of community and school administrators and leaders meet to review attendance reports and discuss strategies to help our students get to school. For instance, the winter 2014-15 was particularly tough. When I looked at our numbers, I realized that we had a real problem we needed to confront. Our chronic absenteeism numbers jumped 5%.
When we looked carefully at that data, we realized that one of the school policies was getting in the way. We bus students who live more than a mile away from school. But when we looked at one of the kindergartens one of the school's kindergartens, we found that 60% of the kindergartners who were walking to school were chronically absent. As a member of the Board of Ed, I knew that meant we needed to change something. So we reduced the distance that you have to live from school to catch a bus down to a half a mile, and it's made a world of difference.
Because of the work we've done as a community, our chronic absenteeism rate in the district was down to 16% this year. And to have bigger impact, we have extended our attendance work to preschool programs in the city, hiring family intervention specialists at our 3 largest preschools, which serve more than 90% of the children of New Britain.
We know getting to school is an important part of meeting the academic challenges to graduate on time, but it isn't enough. With over half of our households in New Britain speaking a language other than English, our youngest students needed help to fight summer slide. We were seeing that gap widen for these students every summer. Our question became, how do we stop summer reading loss when traditional summer school just wasn't working?
So we thought the best way to do that would be to rebrand our summer school program by inviting students and their families to come for something a little more exciting. And our rebranding has been so successful that many parents do not even realize that they are attending summer school.
For 3 weeks every summer, 600 of our youngest struggling readers attend the Summer Enrichment Experience Program, or SEE. The children go to academic classes in the morning and then spend the afternoon with our community-based partners, participating in activities such as taekwondo, theater, or even rap poetry. The teachers and the afternoon staff are partners and they participate in many of the same trainings. They also use the same approaches to reinforce each other. For instance, we all do the same gestures to remind children to use complete sentences.
So, therefore, planning for SEE is year-round, and a steering committee of our school district employees, community partners, funders, and members of our local university are all part of the process. And our children really enjoy and love it. Our research partnership with Central Connecticut State University, we asked the children about their experiences and we asked them why they liked it. One 8-year-old boy's response was because of the reading and the fun.
Even better when we asked the kids, do you think your reading scores will go up when you get back to school in the fall? One 9-year-old said, yes, because every time I go home from summer school, I read for an hour a day. I've been reading that way every day this whole summer. Last summer, 60% of our students who attended SEE experienced no summer slide. And for students who have attended multiple years, 2 and 3 years, chronic absenteeism during the school year has dropped by 11%. We just wish we had more money, always, so that all of our kids in New Britain could be a part of this experience.
I remember going to school in Britain. My friends and I had many dreams. Who would have guessed that one day my childhood softball teammate would now be our mayor? The friendships I made were invaluable, but growing up was not easy. I certainly made a few poor decisions, but getting connected to after-school programs provided me with a safe place to stay out of trouble. Unfortunately, having a safe place to go is not a reality for our youth today, and they don't know where to turn. So I'm excited to be leading an effort to help their voices be heard. It started in 2010 with a group of teenage girls completed a photo voice project about the barriers to healthy living in New Britain. After taking pictures of parks with vacant pools and graffiti, they presented their findings to the Parks and Recreation Department and the City Council. And change happened. One of the parks they highlighted in one of their projects with a vacant pool now has a full turf field for youth sports and a family-friendly splash pad.
Yeah.
Last year, I was part of a photo board project with the House of Teens. The House of Teens was opened by the YWCA after a previous group of participants asked for a safe place for girls to meet after school. When my group was thinking about what we wanted to do, we realized that we wanted to advocate for somewhere safe for all teens to hang out. Many of us lived in tough neighborhoods and really can't hang out at each other's homes. So we took photos of our neighborhoods and the things we face every day that prevent the healthy living. Drug houses, graffiti, abandoned buildings, and garbage. Then we presented our request to the city. So far, 87 girls have taken advantage of the House of Teens. This program was critical to me as I finished high school. Now I'm working with girls in other tribes and decide what I want to do next.
Working across sectors to tackle problems is not considered innovative in the country anymore. In fact, collective impact has become quite the buzzword. But what is innovative in New Britain is the fact that this collaborative work has been driven by the entire community. Working together to leverage resources and using data to drive decisions is not just expected, it is the cultural norm. I'm fortunate to lead the coalition, and we know it will be even more successful in the future.
This past year has been a year of success for New Britain. The grade level reading campaign once again named us as a pace-setter community. And we were one of only 7 that was recognized in all 4 categories, including chronic absenteeism and summer learning. Our C program is a finalist for a national award.
We have a new baseball team in town, the New Britain Bees, and with the remodeling of our downtown square, new businesses are moving into our city every month. Being named as an all-American city would solidify our place as more than just a hardware city, but as the city of innovation.
These 3 programs that you saw today highlight our innovative spirit at work. We're still making new tools in New Britain designed to work here, for us, for the kinds of challenges our communities face. We're excited about what's happening, and we came to Denver to share what's working for us so that other communities, too, can see how they can turn their own unique challenges into opportunities. We are making a difference.
So when people ask us, New Britain, we answer, none better!
Thank you very much. We appreciate you sharing your story. Sorry, that was my voice. There's people that have questions. I think Kurt, you raised your hand.
Yes.
C program, very impressive.
Very impressive. We agree.
In reading your application, your absenteeism program goes into quite a bit of information about addressing the kindergarten age group and getting those folks acclimated to school. I'm interested in, I'd like to have you describe a little bit more about what you're doing for the middle school and high school absenteeism efforts.
Sure. We've been doing some similar work to what we started doing in our early grades, K-3. We have now 2 folks that just work primarily at the middle schools as a family intervention specialist. They're part-time folks. They work 19 hours a week. They have proven to us that the benefits are tremendous. Our middle school numbers this year in chronic absenteeism are great. And what we also do in our middle schools that has been a very productive product is called the Truancy Intervention Project. It's where we have attorneys and law students, and attorneys are doing pro bono work. And what they do is we find kids that are identified as chronically absent in middle school, and what we do is we connect these attorneys with the students and their families. And through this process, a year contract is signed between the family and the attorney. And the attorney is, a lot of people might say it's a mentor, but it's really, this attorney is an advocate for this student. And it's been an unbelievable program that we've put together now for 4 years. The year process, the success rate, the kids love it. Everybody, all their siblings want to jump on board because when that attorney comes to the house, they want to go and do things with them also. Because it's not only being in school with these kids, it's outside entertainment and working with these kids all year. And we've seen some tremendous results.
Thank you. Anthony, I believe you have a question?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Great work. A lot of questions, but I'll just focus on one, the results scorecard. It says that it's online, so I'm curious both what are some of the indicators that you're looking at, and then who has access to kind of looking at those results?
So we first loaded the results scorecard. We were so excited as a community that they put 300 indicators in there, which no data is just as bad as too much data. So we as a community and a coalition, we took it down. We use RBA pretty regularly in the community. And one of the things we found is many of our nonprofit leaders were struggling a little bit with the terminology, so we simplified it to meet nonprofit leaders exactly where they are. We've created entire results framework that have been completed. We are in the process of loading those indicators up into the scorecard, and it will be live June 30th. We just really took it down because it was so confusing to everybody. But we have 4 different strategy groups, so we work all the way from families all the way up to birth 24. We have to 24, we have a youth and workforce group. So some of the things we're working on are teen pregnancy, that's one big issue. Obesity and asthma, which was in the application a little bit. We're doing a lot at the early years. We're looking at graduation rate. So there's a number of different indicators because we're such wide ranging, but it will all be live and useful again on June 30th.
Thank you, Alberto.
This is kind of a follow-up to that. There's a lot of great data that you provided about the impact of your childhood obesity efforts. One of the goals that you indicate in that description is with regards to reducing asthma. So I was wondering, I didn't see any indicators about that. Do you have the ability to determine whether or not you're having an effect on the chronic asthma as a result of those efforts?
So what we've done with asthma is to, whenever we're identifying a child who is chronically absent because of, and asthma is one of the issues, the school nurses are working to develop individual health plans, and we have a partnership with the health department that can send in a sanitarian to do an analysis of what's going on in the house, if there are problems, if there are mold problems, etc. And one of the nurses can go in and educate the parents about that. So we try and make sure that we're dealing with the child's condition at school, but also trying to address the issue at home and the root causes of it. The data that's collected is being collected through the chronic absence work, and we're seeing drops in asthma-related chronic absence.
Thank you, Angela. The other question?
Yes, I'm Brittany. I loved hearing about the Photo Voice project that the young women did and how that made an impact in creating the House of Teens. And just wondering, what's the vision for continuing youth engagement in that way to make an impact on your community, either through Photo Voice or other ways?
Sure. Thank you for asking. So our vision for Photo Voice is really to get the youth more involved in some of the community development that's going on. We work closely with the high school. Obviously, it's a high school program. And we are looking to embed Photo Voice into the school day. So to serve more students so they actually have a voice around the health disparities around the community and help with some of the economic development that's coming up.
Thank you. Renee, I think you have a question.
I wanted to hear more about these family intervention specialists and what they do to help you improve your results.
Thank you. They're a very integral part of our success in chronic absenteeism. Back when I was at the grade level reading approximately 3 years ago or 4 years ago, and we saw we had a chronic absentee rate of 30% in kindergarten and 24% in first grade, I was like, okay, it's obvious why these kids aren't reading at third grade level, and they're not proficient at third grade level because they're not coming to school. So through that, I said, we need to address this very professionally, and what I did was through a small grant, I was able to obtain 2 of these folks, one that actually is here, right here, and another folk. We have 10 elementary schools in New Britain. So what we did was, it's a 19-hour, it's a part-time position, and each of the folks was responsible for 5 elementary schools. They are part of our attendance teams, which is a huge piece of productivity in New Britain. We have attendance teams that meet on chronic absenteeism every week. We have attendance data, that's chronic absenteeism data, that's put out every 10 days. So after the first 10 days of school, if you miss 1 day of school, you're chronically absent. This sets off red flags in these attendance meetings, which the family intervention specialists are very much part of. They make phone calls to parents, they do outreach to parents, could include home visits to parents. They work with the school building, the administrator, to the school nurse. They're part of that building. And our results have shown us with the decrease in chronic absenteeism in New Britain.
Just to show commitment, actually, with this really tightened partnership between the school district and our community. I mean, we're all one. Just being in 8 weeks, but we are building a partnership office at central office, specifically around strengthening, and I'm definitely a systems thinker, about strengthening those partnerships in a strategic way, so that there's a doorway for people to walk through. I think over the years what we've noticed is there are so many willing and ready participants to come in and help, but it's building the doorway. Building a doorway with an office really specifically designed to strengthen partnerships, give them a pathway to come in, And the school district is very committed to sustaining these positions in their local budget, because it's a scary thing. We all know that with decreasing budgets, but to live year to year on grants isn't a way that we're going to build capacity in these folks. So I just wanted you to know that that is our vision going forward.
And I'll hold the superintendent's question.
He's actually, so I just moved him from the first floor, and he's up next to me.
Amy, I think you had a question.
Yeah, it's kind of a follow-up question. I'd really like to hear from the intervention specialist to kind of tell us a story, give us a sense of the kind of work that you do and how you see success.
I think one of the biggest things is building that rapport with the family. These students are not coming to school not because it's not their fault. Their parents don't realize the importance of coming to school every day. Kindergarten has changed from 30 years ago when they took naps every day. These students are learning, and they're building social skills as well going through the school day. So having that relationship with the family, be able to go there, call them, say, hey, Johnny's not in school today, you know what's going on? And oh yeah, he missed the bus, or okay, something's important, we gotta make sure that we're addressing that. If they're constantly missing the bus, maybe we get them an alarm clock. If they don't have uniforms, you can arrange to have that through our Road to Recovery program. Any bears that they have, we want to go to them because they're not so easy to come to us with their problems. Parents aren't that eager to tell you about their problems, but if you ask them, they'll let them know that we can address the issues from there.
And just when they go out to do these home visits, it's not in a negative way. There's so much on our parents' baggage right now that they have, so many other influences that are affecting their lives. They come in and they'll talk to the parents and not even ask them about the chronic absenteeism. Just come in and say, how you doing? You know, we see that John's missed a few days of school. Can we help you with something? So it's positive. It's not another negative or a hammer that's going down on our parents.
Thank you very much for sharing with us, Ms. Britton. And your last comments were so valuable in that none of us need to be told the things that we're doing wrong, but if we can lift them up in a way that makes it comfortable for them instead of judgmental, it'll make a big difference. And you all can't see their signs, they're fabulous, but your toolbox idea was really unique, and they all have their tool belts, so hardware store's happy, I guess. But anyway, thank you for being here.
Because our students could not be with us today, we have a phenomenal marching band. The spirit of our band, you will hear now. And that is our band playing cadence. Thank you very much.